Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today from the beautiful Pacific Southwest corner of Canada in White Rock, British Columbia. I'm Jill Ingalls, licensed practitioner for the Center for Spiritual Living White Rock. We're an inclusive learning center of practical spirituality. This is a place for your whole heart. May you find refuge here. May you discover spiritual truth that uplifts and inspires you. May we all join together in co-creating a loving, vibrant world that works for all. As we begin our gathering today, I respectfully acknowledge and honor that I live on the traditional unceded territory of the Coast Salish First Nations, including Kwantlen, Katsi, Stolo, Semiahmoo, and Wasanich. Now let us anchor our time together in truth and love. And just take a breath and acknowledge the one breath of life, the one life, the one power, the one presence. I call it the divine. It is everywhere present. It crosses all over all space and all time. Its nature is beauty. Its nature is love. Its nature is belonging. Its nature is connection. And so much more. It is boundless. It is infinite. It is all that is. And all of this wonderful, wonderful attributes is what each and every one here today are made of. And beyond these screens and beyond all boundaries is this beautiful, divine love, harmony, energy, the source of all life, permeating through each and every one, living through all life, through all things. For each of us are part of the whole, part of this magnificent, boundless whole. So today, I welcome this day and all people here and beyond to celebrate this beautiful life, this beautiful living. And we are gifted with all of these beautiful attributes to move through this day in community, with families, with friends, and within this beautiful community that we are a part of and that we belong to. And we welcome all others to join us to celebrate this vitality, this life, this energy that each of us are. Wow, what an experience. What an experience to be part of this magnificent CSL White Rock community, to share, to learn, to be and express the love that each of us are. So I celebrate this community. I celebrate connecting, and I celebrate being part of this whole, all connected to all life as one. I release this word to the law, the one that makes it so, and I let it be. And so it is. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, the wonderful and powerful Reverend Champion Fleming. They serve as our Minister of Organizational Development. They're also a consultant and leadership coach working with national nonprofits and labor unions who are committed to anti-racist strategies that lead to cultural and political change. Reverend Champion has worked for decades on LGBTQIA issues, AIDS awareness, poverty, and racism. They've been in service at the Center for Spiritual Living in Davis, California, and the East Bay Church of Religious Science in Oakland, California. We are so fortunate to have her. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Champion Fleming.
Hi, good morning from the unceded and ancestral territory of the Chochenyo Ohlone people, otherwise known as Oakland, California. Happy Pride. I got my pride tie on, and I'm really happy to be with you. I want to just take a minute to be in gratitude to everything that came before this moment that allowed me to be here. That includes everything that everyone in your community did today and has ever done leading up to this moment. I feel really blessed to be part of your community, part of your collective, and I actually had a brief moment where I saw Reverend Cassandra. I was in Portland last week, and she was also there, and we had a brief moment late at night outside in a backyard, and we got to connect. And so that was really beautiful. But today I'm coming with a talk called The Humility of Liberation. And all across Canada and the United States today at Centers for Spiritual Living, folks are coming together to talk about how we answer our soul's call to freedom. And for me, my work that I do in organizations and in coaching is so much about how do we get our own selves ready to engage all the power that we are for collective good. And I'm often in spaces where I'm not overtly spiritual, I'm not overtly bringing a word. And so it's so great to be with you today and speak from the depth of the truth of who we are. And so today I'm really bringing something very simple, which is that each one of us is whole and that we are all one with each other and with all life. And in those two simple truths, there is so much power and so much possibility. There's a pattern of wholeness, of expansion, of possibility that's written into us. It's the pattern of creation. And it was written into us, our wholeness and our possibility was written into us when we were created. We were created by the thing itself. And therefore, all that thing is, we are. And so I want us to explore this idea today of, can we be humble enough to accept the truth of our greatness? Can we be humble enough to allow our divinity to be the thing that we live and move and act from? And can we share this truth with humility? Can we share it everywhere we go? And can we share it with a sense of and a call to our mutual liberation? So today's talk draws from the wisdom of the Vedas, which are ancient texts from India, and the Vedas, also the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, gave rise to some of the world's greatest religions, Jainism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and science of mind is really this wisdom is at the core of our teaching. And so I'm drawing from a book called The Sovereign Self by Acharya Shunya, and also from the work of Ernest Holmes. In the Chandogya Upanishad, there's a dialogue between a sage, a wise one, and their disciple or their offspring. And so the parent beckons their offspring and says, "Bring me a fruit of that banyan tree." And the disciple says, "Here you go, Father." And the wise one says, "Break it." And the disciple says, "Okay, I have broken it. What do you see?" "I see tiny seeds." "Break one open. Break the seed open." "All right, I have broken the seed, wise one. What do you see there?" "I see nothing." And from this nothingness grows the banyan tree. And because there is no thing that is seen within the seed, and yet the tree comes out of that nothingness, that's how we are as well, that we are hidden, that you cannot see the truth of our divinity with your senses. You can't see it with your eyes or hear it with your ears, or sometimes if you have a great meal, you think you've tasted the divinity. But this invisibleness that creates all life, the banyan tree is actually a fig tree, and the seeds attach and another tree grows out of a crack. And so what I'm calling us to do today is to make space for that invisible, to pull back from what we see in the world, the sometimes harsh realities, the injustices, the inequalities. And if we can pull back and be in the space of our own true self, that boundlessness that Nathan was singing about, if we can be in that space, if we can stop relying on our senses and on the physical and on what we see, and know that there is a power in the invisible, that the truth of who we are, the truth of our pure consciousness, the unboundness, the possibility of us is in that invisible space, is in that no-thingness. And it's behind the senses, it's behind the intellect that the truth of who we are really exists. And I really wanted to make a space for us today to come together in our Zoom boxes and feel into our truth, to feel through the layers of our humanity and into our divinity. Because if we slow down in life, if we pause, and we feel into that truth, that the thing that created all things, that the source of all life is in us, it's intrinsically within us, we could rest in this moment forever. If you were to slow down right now and stop the other thing that you're doing, the being on the phone or checking your email or checking in with friends for what you're going to do later, if you were to stop right now and just breathe into the power of your true self. I see your true self. I see your divinity. I see all that you are. I see your wholeness and I see your connection to all life. I see the power in you. I see the possibility in you. I see you shining back at me, your divinity. Even if in this moment you don't know it, even if in this moment it feels like there's a fog or a puzzle piece that needs to be put together before you can know and express the truth of who you are. This is in this community, we see you. We see the truth of who you are. We see your wholeness. That behind the ordinariness, behind the humanity of who we are, there is a universal intelligence. It's the power that creates worlds. It's all life. It's without a body. It is divine. It is all knowing. And yet it has arrived in us, in me, in you as an individual, unique expression. And if you are for the first time encountering this idea of your immortal, all-knowing, all-powerful self, it might feel bold, or it might feel like a blasphemy that we were taught about God. We were taught in religious communities to be small, to be meek, to maybe be shameful or guilty about our behavior. And so there may be a boldness in accepting this. It may be that we know our divinity from an intellectual standpoint, but we don't drop down into it and embody it. But our boundlessness is our truth. Our freedom is our truth. And if we can join together in this truth, we can create the world that works for everyone that we've talked about. And this self is in weight of our discovery. This self is in weight of us coming together and utilizing its power in the individual and in the universal. And can we be humble enough to let go of our ego? Can we be humble enough to think that we've got it all under control and let go of that? Can we be humble enough to let go of our insecurities and the things that we think we don't know? Can we move toward the self with a capital S, the truth of who we are, with a humility that allows us to access that power and love in ecstasy? There can be an ecstasy in approaching ourself with a capital S. What is that thing that's coming up for you right now? And can you let that go without just simply by letting it go? I've been I've been sitting on a lake with no cell service, no Wi-Fi, asking myself this question: how am I occupying my divinity? How am I using the love and power that I am? How am I engaging my own divinity? How am I living from this? And I would like you to ask yourself that same question this week. It's not a question that I think we ask ourselves once, but it's a question we can ask ourselves over and over. With each new phase or station in life, we can arrive back in this question: how am I using my divinity? How am I occupying it today? How am I expressing it in the world today? And what am I doing with and for others? How am I walking alongside others, seeing their wholeness, seeing my oneness with them? And how am I expressing our shared divinity? It's really the deepest question. It's the meaning of life. Can I be the presence of truth? Can I be the I am presence? And can I share that with everyone in my world, regardless of how they're showing up or how they're presenting to me? Can I see them as whole? Can I see that I'm one with them? So this week, I'm hoping that you will bring yourself into intimate connection with your true self, yourself with a capital S, the wisdom behind the mind, the wisdom and intelligence. There's a super intelligence that we have access to. And if we put down our smartness and our degrees and our skills and intelligence with a small I, we can access that pure consciousness, pure wisdom. So this week, bring yourself into intimate connection with that, with the truth of who you are. And maybe if you're already doing that, do it in a different way or do it in a new way. Do it in a fun way. Do it in a way that makes you feel alive and divine and engaged with that power, with that love, and with that wisdom. So thank you very much. Just taking a moment to become aware of the breath. I know that this breath is breathing me. This breath is life. And that this breath, we're all breathing this same breath. That it's breathing us, that we are one in this one breath. I know that there is one power, one presence, one infinite intelligence in the universe. That it's in and through all things, that all things are alive and awake and aware with this presence. It is the Alpha and the Omega. It has no beginning and no end. It just goes on and on and on. And that we were all created by this power and presence. And the very thing that created us lives within us. It is our mind, our body, our spirit. It is our soul's expression, life. And so knowing this truth, I know that this moment that we come together, we know the brilliance that we are. We let everything else just fall away and we allow ourselves to become more ourselves, more of our truth, more of our wholeness, that we see the wholeness in each other and we live from it, that we walk together in a shared expression of love and power and grace, that we walk together in possibility with a sense of freedom and mutual liberation. And love, 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 love. I give thanks for the coming together of this community, the ongoing expansion and expression of the divine in this moment and in the next and the next and the next. That all that life is in us in each moment. And as we go forward today, we bring this with us. It is in front of us, it walks along beside us, and it follows up behind us. That we are held in its care and that we eternally turn toward it and allow it to express the highest and best through us. So I give thanks and I release this word. I know that it is already done. I let go and I let life be life. And so please affirm this with me with an ashe, amen, and so it is.
Beautiful, thank you. Now I'd like to move into our offertory. We create sacred opportunities for personal empowerment and collective transformation through wholehearted experiences of truth and spirit. If you are inspired by today's music and message, as well as our weekly and monthly programs, we gratefully receive your gift, tithe, and offering. There are 3 ways to donate. You can visit our website, www.csl-whiterock.com/donate, mail us a check, or send us an e-transfer, and you'll find that information in the chat. So please join me with great exuberation in saying our prosperity affirmation. Divine love within blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.